information is not even fast.
Hey, this is Jarret from FakeShep.net, and this is the January collection update. It's a little later than usual, but that's because the wife and I were hashtag Garnaventing around the United States in January, for the last 2 weeks of January that was. We took in New York and Texas. First time I visited Austin, Texas. I'd been to Dallas before, but had always wanted to go to Austin. It's been about 20 years in the making, ever since I watched Austin Stories back in the mid-90s as a teenager. And it didn't disappoint. It was a beautiful hub of culture, and I loved it. It was amazing to finally visit one of the Alamo Drafthouse locations. We took in the Ritz Theatre location on 6th Street and saw Master Pancake and Austin Comedy Troupe riff on Titanic, which they cut the film from 3 hours down to 90 and just took the absolute piss out of it. It was amazing. But the definite highlight of Texas for me was the wife and I rented a car and we headed to Kingsland, which was about 2 hours out of Austin, and we visited the family home from the 1974 Tobe Hooper classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We enjoyed a chicken fried steak for breakfast, and yeah, it was fucking cool. No doubt you're seeing some imagery of that right now, but let's move on to some of the titles that I picked up whilst I was in the United States. And first up is a film that I'd heard a fair bit about but hadn't had an opportunity to check out. And I had avoided the local release because I heard it was released in 1080i, and I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to pay cash for it, I want it in 1080p at least. And that's We Are Still Here, which has a very much, I guess, a cross between The Fog and maybe The Orphanage, and I'm trying to think, mainly The Fog sort of feel about it. It was quite cool. My expectations were super high because it made a lot of top 10 horror lists of last year. And I won't say I was disappointed. I was a little underwhelmed, but I still enjoyed it. And yeah, I picked it up cheap for like $7.99 at Best Buy plus tax. So it was probably worked out to about $10, $11 Australian, which is pretty cool. Plus I prefer this US artwork on the Dark Skies release. I think it's Dark Skies that put this one out. It is Dark Sky Films. Moving on to the next one was my second favourite film of last year, and that's Me, Earl and the Dying Girl. Incredible film. If you haven't seen it, I recommend checking it out ASAP. It is available locally on DVD and Blu-ray, so you don't need to import it. I picked it up over there pretty cheap. It cost me like $10 from Target, and I actually prefer the US art of this film. Given it's my second favourite film of last year, I wanted, you know, I want the film in the way I fucking want it. It's an amazing film. Like, seriously, if anyone draws comparisons to The Fault in the Stars, you should punch them in the fucking face. Not cow punch them, just punch them, because it's nothing like that. If you're a film aficionado, I think you'll really dig it, because the guys do sort of Swiss versions of films similar to like Jack Black and Mos Def in Be Kind Rewind, to some all-time classics, everything from Kurosawa films to Hitchcock films to Kubrick films. But anyway, that's just one small element of this film that is funny, moving, and just brilliant. Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, I thoroughly recommend it. And this is actually directed by, now I'm trying to remember his name, I think it's Alfonso, is it going to be somewhere on the slick? Probably isn't. Oh no, it is. Alfonso Gomez Rejon, who directed the Town That Dreaded Sundown remake. This is his second film, and definitely worth checking out. Next one up is Empire Records, a 90s classic. I wish Warner had released an edition that had the theatrical plus the remix cut, but they just went with the theatrical. So I will hold on to one of my DVD editions, the remix cut, so I've just got, you know, that, and I think it's got some additional content that's not on this. But this is a great film. I tossed up whether I needed it on Blu-ray, but it was $5 at a Target. I think at the exact same Target I picked up Me, Earl and the Dying Girl from. So yeah, for $5, why not? Then the next two up here are two films that Walmart tried, well, basically they tried to stand in my way. I don't know if they were looking out for my welfare or the welfare of my wallet, but you know what? I found a way to get in there. You're seeing a picture right now. That's what I saw. I'd had two 22-ounce beers, which are kind of like Stein's, a beer at a Texas Roadhouse bar restaurant, kind of like a steakhouse, along with a beautiful steak meal. And then after that, I was feeling, you know, a little bit loose in the wallet, and yeah, Walmart put that sort of slow roadblock in my way, but I got around it and I managed to pick up these two titles while I was there. The first is Once Upon a Time in America, which I'm sure everyone knows already, the Sergio Leone classic with Robert De Niro, James Woods, and geez, a host of other people. This has got the theatrical as well as the extended cut. I haven't ever seen the extended cut. It was released locally through Warner here, and I think it may have been a JB exclusive, but I believe it might be out of print, and in any case, that one I only had the extended edition, didn't have the theatrical. This one has both cuts of the film. And yeah, look, I was happy to part with, I think it was like $10, which is really cheap because I've watched this one on Amazon and it rarely dips, I think rarely dips below like the $20 mark. So pretty stoked to add that one to the collection once upon a time in America. Then the next one up is another one that I picked up at that very same Walmart, and that is a double pack of Face Off and Snake Eyes. Less so for Face Off. I mean, it's fun. It's a bit of a fun John Woo film. But more so for De Palma's Snake Eyes, which I've been wanting to upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray because it's a stunning film, if anything else for its beautiful cinematography. But it's a good suspense thriller and it's fairly action-packed. But I wanted it on Blu-ray, and you rarely can get it for below $15 US on Blu-ray. Well, I picked up this double pack for about, I think it was about $7.33, some really unusual price point, and so it probably worked out after tax about $11 or something. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that, probably $12. Anyway, I don't know. Let's not get into the currency conversion thing, because that'll just make me cry when I think about the amount of money that I spent on food and transport and just day-to-day things that cost me, almost double. Next one up is Zoolander. This is the blue steelbook, which I thought was really clever. This is a Walmart exclusive in the United States, and in addition to being a pretty cool steelbook, as you can see, it also has inside of it a digital HD, so ultraviolet code for the film, which I can't use because it's within the US. Plus, I think there's a discount coupon to see Zoolander 2, which I can't use because it's within the US. But it also came with like a bandana and hairpiece, which more than likely I will use at some point in time. I don't know when or where. Maybe I will wear it to the movies when I see Zoolander 2. Highly unlikely, but I reckon it's just worth it because it's the blue steelbook. I think that's super clever. Maybe I'm just dumb and a sucker for these things, but I don't have Zoolander on Blu-ray, so it's an upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray for this one. Super excited about the sequel. Okay, so that's all the Blu-rays I picked up in the States. I didn't pick up many because I really wasn't shopping for Blu-rays there. I mean, more often than not, you can get them cheaper on Amazon than you can get them in-store in the US. That was just some stuff that I had on my want list and I just happened across it. I didn't really go searching for it, except for Zoolander. I did go searching for a Walmart to get that particular Zoolander. That was the first Walmart I went to, not the one where I drunkenly stumbled into. I wasn't drunk, I was tipsy. Moving on to a bunch of imports that I got from the UK. Actually, you know what? No, we'll save the UK stuff and move on to the local stuff first. Okay, so first up is M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit, which I thought was actually quite clever and funny. It's not a straight-ahead found footage horror. It's got a lot of humour to it, a few twists and turns, and if anything else, yeah, I think it has good replay value because it had a good sense of humour about it. Quite keen to check out the special features, including the alternate ending. I wish it had the alternate cut of the film because I heard there was 3 cuts of the film. This version, it was a mix between sort of horror and comedy, a horror cut and a comedy cut. So I kind of wish we'd had 3 versions, but let's face it, would have I watched the other 2 versions? Probably not anytime soon, so yeah, anyway, I'm pretty happy with that particular version. Next one up is Notting Hill. Yes, a rom-com drama classic. Yeah, it's a great film. Fucking Hugh Grant's terrific in it. Julia Roberts I'm not a massive fan of, but she's great in it. Rhys Ifans is good in it. It's a tight film. And it's got a shitload of special features on it. I don't actually own it on DVD, so I'm quite pleased to add to the collection on Blu-ray. Next one up is one I pre-ordered, which was a JB... Well, actually, it wasn't a JB exclusive, because Sanity were doing it too, and maybe Easy DVD. Who knows? Is Easy DVD still around? I believe they are, but does anyone shop there? You could get your cover personalised. So, obviously, I got Kringle. Not obviously, because people are like, where the fuck is Kringle? Kringle is in Victoria, and it's near Frankston. It's where I lived as a child before I served a sentence in Brisbane for 16 years. So yeah, it's probably foreign to other people, but to me it's pretty funny. So straight out of Kringle. Next one up is a Monster Pictures release, and it is Bunny the Killer Thing. At the moment, Archie is like, you can't come up, buddy. I've got to do this thing first, and then you settle down. I'll be with you very soon, my prince. Bunny the Killer Thing, I've heard lots of great things about it. The trailer was insane. And the artwork for this is rather nice. I think Ben Helwig there at Monster Pictures put this artwork together. Didn't illustrate it himself, but did put the packaging together, and he's done a fine job. Dead keen to check it out. It did play Monster Fest, but it was like a morning session on the Friday morning of Monster Fest on the Friday, I think the first day after the opening night, the Thursday night. Didn't get to see it. Anyway, looking forward to watching it. Next one up is another local horror release, and it's called Frankenstein Vs The Mummy. I haven't seen it. I've heard really good things about this. I'm quite excited to check it out. Artwork's fucking kick-ass. No Blu release locally, which is a bit of a shame, and there's no special feature content, which is also a bit of a shame. But this one's out through ITN Distribution. I've never heard of them actually at all. So yeah, I guess they're a new player in the local market. And then the last one up for the local releases is Derek the Special, which is the final episode of Derek. Derek aired for 2 seasons, and in the way that Gervais sort of does things, he does a special more often, the Christmas special, and that will be the episode that will tie up the entire series and bring it to a conclusion. Yeah, it's actually quite good. I wasn't a massive fan of the second series. In fact, I was really disappointed with the second series of Derek, but the special sort of brought it back, and it was quite moving and emotional, and it was a fitting conclusion to the Derek series. Okay, moving on to the UK imports. These were all, I got all these I think most of these, all of them were probably through Amazon UK. Haven't bought anything through Zavvi of late. First one up is Stretch with Patrick Wilson. This is directed by Joe Carnahan, I think it is, the director who did Smoking Aces, but also did one of my favourites, Narc, and he did the A-Team movie. Stop scratching, sir. No scratching. Sorry, Archie's scratching. Anyway, this was an amazing film that I watched on Netflix US, and it was due to get a local release on DVD and Blu-ray. Universal pulled it, and then they cited that they didn't have the rights to it locally, which was odd considering it's a Universal Pictures production. It is getting released finally locally in March or April. I read that after this, but it's only on DVD anyway, and I think it's through Fox. I think E1's picked it up for a local release. Unfortunately, there is no special feature content, but I mean, what else did you expect? Universal pretty much dumped it to digital, and I think it was a Walmart exclusive physically in the US and only on DVD. They didn't do a Blu in the US. So the UK is the only place that's got it on Blu-ray, apart from probably Germany and France and Italy. But yeah, Stretch. It's a really cool film. I thoroughly recommend checking it out. I loved it. Next one up is a bit of a throwback to films of my childhood, and that's Biggles, Adventures Through Time. This was one of those films I rented out a heap of times on the old Roadshow VHS. I remember seeing trailers for this and Zone Troopers that many times, and I was a big fan of both as a kid. Zone Troopers I revisited recently. Didn't really hold up, whereas Biggles, Adventures in Time I'm certainly hoping will hold up. I got a completely different feeling about this one, but I just haven't had an opportunity to watch it yet. I've been watching mainly the more shitty B horror movies, or C, maybe even Z horror movies of late. But yeah, looking forward to checking Biggles, Adventures in Time out. Next one up is Spazmo from Umberto Lenzi, who you may remember for having directed Cannibal Forex. This is a giallo horror. It's part of 88 Films' Italian collection film line. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out the old VHS. I can't remember who put it out locally, but it had like this lady with like inner underwear with kind of like stockings on. She kind of looks like a mannequin on the cover. Yeah, it's a bizarre cover, very bizarre cover. And in all honesty, I never rented it out because I thought the cover looked a bit shit. So I've never seen it, and I'm really keen to give it a go, particularly because it's supposed to be a good giallo of the time. I don't think I've ever heard it referred to as a great giallo, but yeah, quite keen to check it out. Spazmo. And the price was right, so why not? Next one up, Splatter University. This was one that I dug on VHS as a kid, but I did rewatch it on a really dodgy fucking VHS to digital transfer maybe about 6 or more years ago, and it was struggle street getting through it, but I'm eager to check it out again. That's Splatter University. Has a reverse slick, and also comes with a bonus feature from the same director, Richard W. Haynes, who directed Class of Nukem High, called What Really Frightens You, and that was made in I think 2007, so I don't know if it actually ever got a release individually, but it's on there, so I might check that out as well. Next up is Jess Franco's Bloody Moon, which was another one I avoided on VHS because I wasn't thrilled with the artwork on the slick. And I only watched this one last night, and I honestly thought it was shit. I will be definitely getting rid of this one on eBay ASAP, I should say. Sorry, that's my wife. I can hear her. She's about to come in the door. Yeah, I thought it was trash. The cinematography was... cinematography is probably the best thing about it, but the special effects were awful. Really just rubbery and crappy looking. The story was somewhat convoluted, and yeah, I really can't say I was impressed with anything in this film. The music the score was catchy. It was far from great. Has a very giallo feel about it, though it is Spanish. But yeah, it wasn't great. Bloody moon. Bloody awful. Next one up is a film that I was super impressed by, and that's Blood Rage. I never saw this back in the day. I believe maybe it was released as Nightmare in Shadow Woods here on VHS, not 100%. But yeah, I'd never seen Blood Rage, and I fucking loved it. This particular edition through Arrow is spectacular. As you can see, it's got this really nice slipcase with some iconic art on the front, which was from a scene in the film, and I believe that's newly commissioned art. There is an abundance of special feature content on here. There's 2 Blu-rays and a DVD. There's 3 cuts of the film. There's the original video cut, which has the title card Slasher, but it was actually never released as Slasher, which is the print they've used. That's the Blood Rage cut. Then there's the Nightmare at Shadow Woods cut, which was from about 4 years later in 87, because the film was 83. Then in 87 there's another cut of the film which has alternate footage and removes a lot of the gorier scenes. And then there's a third cut, which is a composite cut of all 2 versions to make it the most definitive version. I figured I'd watch the original 83 cut to get my head around it to begin with, and I'm super eager to check out the other 2 cuts of this. I did watch all the special feature content, just haven't listened to the audio commentary. I fucking loved it. I really dug it. And it's a spectacular package. As you can see, slipcase, newly commissioned art there, and then on the inside here, underneath this disc, is the original theatrical home video key art. There's even a booklet. It is a super edition. Arrow's really outdone themselves with that one. Then the last one up is Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, also known as Zombie 3, which is a Lucio Fulci film, although I believe he didn't finish making the film and Bruno Mattei helped finish making the film, because I think he may have passed during the course of the production of this film. In all honesty, I'm not sure if I've actually ever seen Zombie Flesh Eaters 2, or Zombie 3 as it's also known, but I'm dead keen to check it out. I've just got to find the right mood to be in to check out what is no doubt going to be pretty damn cheesy. I'm not expecting anything anywhere near as good as Zombie or Zombie Flesh Eaters, this is known, but I'm hoping it'll be a lot of fun. I imagine it'll sit somewhere between Zombie Flesh Eaters and Howl of the Living Dead, or Night of the Zombies as it's also known. But yeah, I'm quite keen to check it out. So that is the January update. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back in February. I don't know with what, because there's not a great deal of stuff. I mean, most of the money went on the trip.
Question is not even response.